Hey guys, so I've seen a lot of people wanting to buy these generic headlamps there, mainly because of the cost of the Dr. Kim's. I bought these Dr. Kim headlamps around 5 years ago. My implant mentor used to wear them all the time. She was a great fan of them, and I now use them with magnifiers there as well. Recently, there's been these generic ones there that have come on the market, and I ended up buying one because I thought, you know what, I want to have one as a spare. And now I'm just doing a comparison video for you guys. You can see there are huge differences between the Dr. Kim's and the generic ones there as well. And as long as you know that, then it's basically up to you as the buyer as to whether you want to do that. So let's get on with the video. So we have the two different cases here. This is for the copy of the Dr. Kim loops, and this is the Dr. Kim ones. You can see that the Dr. Kim ones look, they're a lot smaller profile, a lot easier to kind of carry there as well, and also look like it's specifically molded for that, whereas this is like a generic kind of flight case basically. Here we have both cases open. This is the generic one on the left hand side there. I actually like the setup of the generic one a bit better. It seems like the actual components can hold in a lot better. You know, the slots for everything is there. And when you compare that to the Dr. Kim one, you've got a slot there for the battery case, a kind of slot here for your magnifying loops, but they don't really hold in very well. And then obviously an additional adapter there because we're using a UK based plug. So let's get these out and we can have a look and see what they're like. So if we look at the two headlamps now here, if we look at the bands there first, you can see that the Dr. Kim band is quite a lot more narrow than the other one, the generic one, going all the way down to the base, and the strap towards the head here is also a lot wider and broader. This overall makes the Dr. Kim one feel a lot lighter on your head. The one difference there is also this at the back. If you see this curve here, this basically holds that towards the back of your head. See, the Dr. Kim one is a lot smaller, and the problem is with this is this area here and here can kind of dig into the back of your head there during long surgeries, and that can make it feel a little bit awkward. And also at the front, you can see there's a different curvature of the front bands there on the heads as well. So if we now look at the light wheels, this is basically here to kind of turn the light on and off, make it more powerful. This is the one on the generic one there. If I can zoom that up, it's much more difficult to turn. It's much smaller, whereas the Dr. Kim one there is much easier to turn. To get your assistant to come around and actually do that is much easier without lifting this whole thing off your head. Battery cases are kind of similar size, and the profiles there are quite similar as well. Now, I just wanted to adjust that there a moment. I just wanted to see, it's a bit difficult to tell, but kind of if you look at the actual shapes of both of these, the Dr. Kim shape is much more ergonomic. Can you see that? It has this little curve that comes round over the top here, and then this becomes flat, whereas this is just an overall curve that goes all the way around. This is a lot more ergonomic with the Dr. Kim's. So when it comes to the actual lights there themselves, the Dr. Kim one there has more of a ratcheted kind of connection. It pushes down and it locks itself into place, as opposed to the one that is on the generic one, which is more of a kind of push friction kind of connection. When we also look at the bulbs there themselves, they're both claimed as 3-watt bulbs. However, if you look on the inside of the Dr. Kim's, it looks a lot more reflective, and I will show you actually on the in the dark what the difference is in terms of the light. Is quite significant. So this is a comparison of both of the lights. This is the Dr. Kim on the left hand side, and this is the generic one on the right hand side. They're both shadowless, so you just basically got one light. But if you look at the difference in the clarity of the Dr. Kim one to the other one, significant difference there. Even though they're both considered 3 watts, this light is massively brighter. So both of these lamps there have connections for loops, Dr. Kim on the left, and the generic one on the right hand side. The Dr. Kim has focus adjusters there that are towards the side, and the generic one has focus adjusters there that are towards the top. They also have a interpupil diameter adjuster, which is to that little wheel that is over the top there, and the wheel over the top on the generic one there as well. Now, the interesting one, if I can focus this properly, about the generic one is it's really easy to adjust the focus. You can just see there's like literally like two kind of tabs that come and lock in there together, but I would suggest it's sometimes too easy. If you compare that to the Dr. Kim's, which is here, see that with the Dr. Kim's is a lot more stronger. I can't do that with a single finger, and I can't adjust the side the focus adjusters there with a single either. So it's a significantly kind of stiffer and stronger design. When we look at the connection towards the inside there as well, you can see the tines there, and that basically allows the connection of the electrical light to make sure that the lamp is working. And if we compare that to the one there on the generic one, you can see that that's a lot more external. So there's an increased risk of that kind of having problems. In addition to that, if you look up at the top here, there's no external screw for connecting this portion to the main body. There's a tiny little screw here, but the generic one has a much more substantial screw that connects over the top there. If I get that in focus, it's a much more substantial, and over this side there as well. So I guess if all of this section fails, it's much easier for you to change that around. Also, if we look at the Dr. Kim's as they come down, this is the absolute maximum. They can't go any further than that. And if you can hear, I'll try and be quiet for this. There's two settings of adjustment, and it locks in there. You can hear that clicking. And then it goes and locks up at the top. We go to the generic one. The generic one basically doesn't have any lock. Can you see how it just, there's no lock there, right? And then as it goes down by friction, it comes down, and you can see it comes all the way down to here. Now, the issue with this is that it's very difficult to keep it within that position to kind of stop it from losing its connection to the lamp. And because it loses its connection to the lamp, you end up losing light. So quite often you have to adjust the position on your head to make sure this is pushed all the way down to engage the electrical connection there down on the base. So really just an inferior connection there for that on those two bits there. So this is the generic one here. I placed that all the way down there. You see, if I put it here, right, it doesn't lock, right? It just kind of flops around. And obviously when we place this down, this is our connection. Now the problem is here, now I'm hitting my glasses, right? So if this is not actually connecting with the electric connector, we're in big trouble, because we're not going to get any light at this point. So that's one of the issues that I have. But obviously if you don't wear glasses, you don't need to worry about that. Overall, generally quite comfortable. But if you see here, you can see this is pressing into my forehead, and that can become uncomfortable over time there as well. But generally the fitment is similar. This is going to be difficult to show, so I can't. There we go. Yeah, so you can just see that pressing into the forehead, and I have used this a few times and ended up with marks on the forehead there as well. So Dr. Kim, another win for them in terms of the comfort. So in terms of the fit on the head, you can see I've got this on there. I'm basically wearing it, and I've got my glasses on. This is the reason why I wear Dr. Kim's, is because I actually like to wear my glasses at the same time. And you can place this down, the connection there, if we try and zoom up, it's not pushing on the glasses or anything like that. And I can look directly down into the loops there. So you can adjust the position of the loops there as well. And we've got magnification, quite comfortable on the head. You can see the position of that there as well, and the nice little toggle to kind of pull that back up. So generally quite a comfortable fitting. Let's go to the generic one now. So overall, what would I say about these two? Well, look, The Dr. Kim loops are in the region of around £700 to £800, which is US, I guess, around $950. And something like this was around 100 odd, £120 there, which is in the region of about 150 or so dollars. So there's a massive price comparison between the one on the left and the one on the right. I would say if you're on a big budget, if you're on a restricted budget and you've got a situation where you might have to buy multiple of these, then fine, then go for this. But just be aware of the issues and the fact that you're not going to get as powerful a light. It's not going to be as comfortable. And when you're doing long surgery, sometimes like I am there, when I'm doing a full mouth of implants or something like that, it can be quite painful on your head, the front strap and the back strap there as well. So really it's a buyer beware. Overall, Dr. Kim's there's a reason why they are the gold standard one there in this kind of type of head torch, and there's no real comparison to these. Let me know, guys, what you think in the comments there down below. Have you got any other alternatives to Dr. Kim? Have you been using these generics? What do you think about them? And I'll see you again next time.